Oh,
before we
okay.
get going and start giving
Okay.
out these free money plays,
Yeah.
you
Talk to
you
him.
gotta definitely hit that subscribe button. You
Mm.
gotta definitely hit that like button. And you gotta definitely hit that bell so you can get that reminder, so you can get that cash week in and week out. He showed you the stats. There are no lies behind it. We give the
None.
receipts. Follow us. We know what we're talking about. But you can't do that without giving us a little bit of respect by hitting that like, subscribe, and that bell. So please do it from the bottom of my heart,
It's
so we can
crazy,
keep it
man.
going. So we can keep it going. That's all we want to do is
Thousands
keep
of
it going.
people. Thousands
All
of
right.
people see this
We
motherfucking
see
thing,
you
man.
watching us. Don't
We
watch from
see
the
you.
far. Come
Yeah,
in. Come in.
for sure. Big facts. Let's keep it moving and rocking here. So I do have a bet on this game. Oklahoma versus Kansas. Oklahoma minus 10. Totals over 65, minus 30, 38. Who knows if Daniels is playing? I'm just going to say he's out. Like Sharp kind of said earlier in the week, we don't have the information to know if he's playing or if he's not. But the kid, is it Dean or Bean? I think it's Bean, right?
Bean.
Being
Bean with
Bean,
a
yeah.
B. Yeah.
Yeah, Bean. He's been playing well, right?
yeah.
They're 5-2. The one thing I did notice is that he only had the one kind of, I think the one breakout game. I think it was last game. He had a breakout game where he had like 5 or 4 touchdowns. But other than that, he's played well enough for them to win. Obviously, they got, there was a kind of switch when they played Texas, because everybody thought Daniels was going to be there and he wasn't. But he's beaten UCF. They put up big numbers, put up 50 points. They got into a really a shootout fight with Oklahoma State that he lost, but he had an amazing game in that game from the pocket too, right? He threw. I'm looking at his numbers now. He threw 34 times, 410 yards, almost close to 68% completion, 5 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That's a big game, right? That's a Daniel-esque type game. And the
Mhm.
one side I like about this game is going to surprise you boys a little bit. I like to do a little bit of risk. I went back and looked at all these games. He's just coming off his big game, and now he's got to face Oklahoma team who's had their scare last week off of the Red River rivalry game. Got over that, and then they had their scare last week where they got over. That was when you would have faded them, and now you get this Kansas team who just came off a monster game. Even though they lost, they came a monster game coming home. So I think all that emotion with these players and all this emotion coming back with these games, Oklahoma has a lot going on for them. Obviously, for the playoffs, they can't lose a game. Kansas still fighting here. They have 5 wins, so they are bowl eligible, if I'm not mistaken, at this point. So I'm looking at these teams that they're going to be a little bit slow out the gate here, and looking at how Kansas scores as well. Outside of that big game, Bean hasn't been spectacular, even though they scored a lot of points. And they scored a lot of points on the back end of these games. So they've only scored more than 31 points once in the games that Bean has played. Now I know Oklahoma's not the crazy defense, um, of the league. I'm sorry, of the nation, but I really like the under here, 32 and a half, for Oklahoma versus Kansas. I just don't see that many points being scored in the first half here. It's a little bit different take. Don't really love unders as much as maybe you guys do as much. But I think that what I've seen looking at the trends from the numbers that I've seen with both these teams don't start picking up a little bit into the second half. I'm betting on that this game, this first half is not going to be like 24-10, or maybe even be 21-10. That first quarter really helped me, even though I've seen Kansas explode a little bit in the second quarter with 21 points and things like that. So that could hurt me. A little bit risky play, not a big unit play, but I still really like this play because I think the number is way too high. Give me under 32 and a half for Oklahoma versus Kansas.